Yes? So, do I need makeup?
Yes.
I was prepared. I was called last minute.
They are laughing at you.
You see, I'm not even appropriately dressed. But when national duty calls. All right.
We are on air.
Good morning. Honorable Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services, Dr. Ismail Sise. IGP, I don't know the security designation, Inspector General of Police, Sidi Mukhtar Sise. Do we say Excellency or Honorable? No. Just, Inspector General of Police, Sidi Mukhtar Sise. It's your fault, It's called the last minute. Come. Me, I call for apologies, I repeat again. Inspector General of Police, Sidi Mukhtar Toure, Commissioner of Police, Mustafa Ndong, in charge of administration, ASP, Mohamed Musa Sisaho, Police PRO, DPS Fabala Kinte, DPS Technical, Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting, and Madam Naomi Williams, DPS Administration, Administrator of Information, Media and Broadcasting. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Gambia Government press conference, the routine engagement to update the citizens on the deliveries of the government. As you can see, the last cabinet receipt, one of the previous cabinet sessions that I was talking about, was focusing on delivery. So the social contract is about, always coming and delivering. And the Honorable Minister will give us an update of government's activities since the last press conference, to be followed by presentation by IGP Sidi Mokhtar Toure, and then interventions with Q&A. We hope there's going to be a precise, productive session. Honorable Minister, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, the IGP of Police, the IG of Police, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Sidi Mukhtar Toure, you and your team. Good morning, and thank you very much for accepting our invitation to participate in this very important press conference. Good morning, members of the press, also those watching from afar, and also those watching from home here in the Gambia. As part of our efforts to popularize government agenda, to bring government close to the people, to ensure reliable, accurate, authentic information is disseminated in a proactive manner, the Ministry of Information, Media and Broadcasting Services organizes this monthly press conference where I invite government agencies, departments, or ministries to come and interface with the media to discuss their vision, but also their achievements, but also their challenges. Also to give the media the chance, the opportunity to ask questions, relevant questions that the public might want to know. And I've always maintained that the media is a critical conduit between the government and the people. The IG of Police cannot go to every household, every hamlet, every village, every town, every ward, every constituency of this country, every region, to discuss his vision, but also what the police are doing insofar as the prevention and the solving of crime is concerned, but also to ensure that people and property are protected. But he can do it through the media. When he speaks to the media, this can be disseminated far and wide to the public. This is why we organize this press conference. And today we are happy that we have the IG of Police and his team to come and talk to the Gambian people through the media. But before we start, I'd like to give some updates from government. There has been a lot of updates, but I'll just look at the critical ones. One obviously is the celebration of the independence, Gambian 60th anniversary, so-called Diamond Jubilee, which was celebrated in grand style at the Makati Square on the 18th of February 2025. The president was in attendance, obviously, and he was host to two presidents, the president of Senegal, President Jomai Faye, and the president of Guinea-Bissau, President Omaru Embalo. It was a grand occasion, was a very sublime celebration, very interesting. just an update. Now, the other one is that yesterday, the President launched the EU Youth Empowerment Project in the tourism and creative industries. This is supposed to ensure that the tourism sector is competitive, it is inclusive, but also sustainable. This will provide opportunities for young people, particularly in the creative industries, to bring in products into the tourism sector and also diversify tourism. If you could recall, in 2023, the President launched the Labour Act, which promises to provide 150,000 jobs. And this is part of the initiative to not only provide jobs for young people in the country, particularly because the project is focusing on women and youth, but also to ensure that we boost our tourism sector. The Ministry of Finance also and Economic Affairs hosted members of the African Development Bank's AFD higher management during a working visit this week. They briefed the President on their engagements in the Gambia and the positive impact that this has had on the lives and livelihoods of Gambians. Now, in another development, the Ministry of Health also received 30 new ambulances from Riders for Health to add to the existing fleet of the ambulances of the Ministry of Health. Currently, the global figure countrywide of the number of ambulances that is under the purview of the ministry or under the service of the Ministry of Health is over 170 ambulances. That is what the Ministry of Health has. Now, these new 30 new ambulances will add to that fleet to ensure efficiency in health service delivery. Now, the head of the international IDEA, Dr. Mohamed Ibn Chambers, also was in town this week and paid a courtesy call to His Excellency the President to discuss the current draft constitution, which will be tabled in Parliament next month for it to be discussed by lawmakers and passed into our new constitution. He's here to consult with all stakeholders, including the opposition, the government, but also civil society and the media, to help towards our desire to bring in a new constitution. There is also a press release from the Ministry of Trade clarifying the importation of wheat flour. Just to be short, the clarification seeks to ensure and for it to be known to all Gambians that there is no embargo on the importation of flour into this country as being widely spread on social media. That there is no embargo, and that is what this press statement was seeking to clarify. Finally, the President also, as part of the celebrations of Diamond Jubilee, the President has been very busy in inaugurating and commissioning new projects, but also laying foundation stone for new projects. If you recall, last week also, the President commissioned the new 225 kVA substation. It's a very modern energy infrastructure here at Jabang. At the same time also, in the same weekend, the President also commissioned the new Batil-Harding Highway, which is now done, the 22-kilometer Batil-Harding Highway, but also use the opportunity to lay foundation stone for the third phase, which will now see the side and the service roads being built into 4 lanes, 2 on this side and 2 on this side, a flyover bridge at Sukura Jabang traffic light, new roundabouts, but also security cameras to ensure public safety, but also to ensure road traffic safety. So there will be more inaugurations. Today, the President is in Kunkujanketa this morning to inaugurate new classroom blocks in that particular community. The President also inaugurated new blocks at the shelter home here in Bakote last week Friday, both for the old people's home, but also for the orphanage as well. So as we go, the whole 2025 will be dedicated to commissioning new projects that were undertaken by the government, but also lay foundation stone for projects that will be implemented by the government. Remember, the President has made a pledge that 2025 is a year of delivery, and the government has promised to deliver, particularly in critical projects like water infrastructure is currently being expanded across the country. Communities that had not had water before, clean running potable water, now they have been having access to water, but also electricity expansion in line with our goal to achieve universal access to electricity by end of 2025. Communities are benefiting from this electricity expansion as well. In addition to education as well, to ensure every Gambian, no matter where you are, even in the last village of this country, you'll have access to quality education. We are building, the President is building classrooms. Over 6,000 classrooms have been built since the coming into power of His Excellency the President. Healthcare facilities have been expanded as well. That is also ongoing. And also road infrastructure. We built over 1,000 kilometers of roads, close to 1,000 kilometers of roads, over almost 910 kilometers of roads. It's either already being built, completed, or is currently being built. This is all in line with the President's agenda to modernize and transform this country. So those are the updates from the government, and I'll hand over back to the chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister of Information, Media and Broadcasting, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay. It's really impressive, and I'm impressed by the launch of this project on creative industries, which is closer to my heart. Many young people have been talking about working in the music, performance, and film, cinema, pottery, and all other areas. And this project is really timely. And then during the NICOF, National Youth Conference, one of the recommendations that the youths, presented to the government was to advance the creative economy. And I'm glad. And apologies that I've been talking about Ceesay. Coincidentally, I spent the whole weekend working on the Masani Ceesay project. No wonder the name Ceesay is still being echoing in my mind. Everything is timely. Thank you so much. I would like to transition to the IGP. We're following the progress of the ongoing security sector reform. A lot of development has been taking place, and the Inspector General of Police, Sidi Mokhtar Toure, will take us through. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Babakar. Thank you. The Honorable Minister for Information, Media and Broadcasting, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, here with his principal deputies, the two Deputy Permanent Secretaries, Technical and Admin, my colleagues, senior officers from Gambia Police Force, Commissioner Mustafa Ndong, in charge of administration, and the Press and Public Relations Officer, Mamadou Musa Sisao, members of the four estates, the media, I greet you all. Good morning to everybody. Assalamu alaikum. I am invited here by the Honorable Minister, and I consider it very timely, very strategic, in the sense that of recent there are so many information that have been peddled, not only in the social media, but even in our local media outlets. And I think it's a very good opportunity for me, in my capacity as the Inspector General of Police, to possibly try to clarify some of those informations and to update the general public, the Gambian populace, and other residents that are in the country here about the current projects and programs and the transformative agenda ongoing in furtherance to the ongoing security sector reform that the country is witnessing. And there we go. 25th February 2025. In recent years, the Gambia Police Force, GPS, has advanced significantly by focusing on modernization, capacity enhancement, and international relationship. Here I want to catalog some of the achievements the force has undergone. Strategic vision and direction. Considering the past authoritarian legacies and the need to address them, the security sector reform objectives, a new strategic vision was crafted in very clear terms to guide personnel from the IGP to the most junior personnel on our day-to-day police duties. The Gambia Police Force strategic vision embedded in the strategic plan 2024 to 2028 and the Gambia Police Force doctrine is to be professional, accountable public service, respecting human rights and the rule of law. Key elements in the statement. Professionalism. This signifies that every police officer must do their utmost their duty not only in conformity with the laws, but must also do so effectively and efficiently to satisfy the security and safety needs of the populace. Strategy. The Professional Standards and Human Rights Unit monitors through announced and unannounced spot checks to rectify and, where necessary, escalate issues of unprofessionalism to the Office of the IGP for redress. They report to the Office of the IGP directly to minimize any possible interference. They also receive complaints against police officers and conduct impartial investigations. Naturally, the supervisors are also responsible to ensure compliance to professional standards, and minor breaches of the code of conduct are dealt at their level. Accountability. GPF is more responsive to the concerns and advices of both the governance and oversight institutions now than before. The Ministry of Interior and other ministries, Parliament and departments can all attest to our cooperation with the civilian authorities. Oversight institutions like the National Human Rights Commission and the Ombudsman can all attest to the level of our cooperation in this area. Human rights and the rule of law. Advocacies and trainings on human rights and rule of law have been ongoing to create awareness among the ranks and files of the force. Partners, particularly NHRC, have contributed a lot in this area. We are committed to making sure that our officers are not only human rights compliant, but also become defenders of human rights. Strategy. Our ambition to become defenders of human rights is what, amongst others, what informs the conceptualization of the model police stations. Those who may have visited these stations can attest that they are more human rights friendly, and going forward, we will maintain that standard or improve on it. Happy to note that for the first time in the history of Gambia Police Force, one of the preconditions for re-entry through re-engagement or re-enlistment is the applicant must have a clean human rights record, and this must be established before approval is granted. Transformative agenda. Transformation is a process, and Gambia Police Force is strategically and systematically approaching it to ensure it is achieved in a sustainable manner. In this regard, the following are given prominence: legal and regulatory framework. It is common knowledge that we have been relying on the Police Act as one of the primary legal framework for Gambia Police Force, and this instrument is more than 60 decades old. Therefore, we saw the need to develop a new one which is reflective of the current realities as far as security and general policing governance is concerned. In addition, we have developed and now operationalizing more than 20 legal and regulatory frameworks in the form of policies that were in existence previously. This includes and are not limited to the following: the Strategic Plan of 2024-2028, the Police Doctrine, Code of Conduct for Gambia Police Force, Arrest and Detention Procedures Manuals, the Recruitment and Selection Policy tested during the selection of the current police badge on training, strengthening of internal governance structures, the Promotion Board, the Training and Development Committee, otherwise known as TRADOC, the Procurement Committee, the Contracts Committee, have all been set up to enhance transparency, fairness, accountability, and the judicious use of the meager resources at our disposal. For instance, the Promotion Board, which for the first time during the last promotion of senior officers conducted mid-2024, included senior officials of the Personnel Management Office in the process. For the TRADOC, which is the Training and Development Committee, it does not only examine issues of training and capacity building from a technical point of view to advise the Office of the IGP, but also supports our human resources to ensure the availability of priorities on training based on identified gaps. Capacity building. Trainings conducted. Members of the Gambia Police Force continue to enjoy training programs locally and internationally in the various areas of policing. In the year under review, which is 2024 alone, 3,402 officers benefited from solid training programs such as organized crime, investigations, human trafficking, human rights and related matters, gender and leadership, public order management, crowd control, anti-corruption, to name just a few. We are not at ground zero when it comes to competency in terms of skills and knowledge, but there is need to regularly maintenance to retain and keep up pace with the crime trend. Our key challenge is knowledge and dissemination and sustainability. That is why the creation of the standard police training facility remains a top priority for us. Introduction of tailor-made police development programs for Gambia Police Force. New curriculum and training manual. Since the inception, we have been relying on training manual for the training of our recruits that is as old as the force itself. We now have a new training curriculum and manuals which are reflective of the current policing demands and standards, and highly reflective of the human rights and the rule of law issues. The current batch ongoing training are being trained in accordance to the prescriptions in these manuals and the curricula. Diploma in Police Science Program. This is a new training course designed and developed in collaboration with the University of the Gambia for Gambia Police Force staff. And I'm happy to say here, the Honorable Minister for Information, Media and Broadcasting is the main architect for police officers to benefit from this training. But we still bank on him to support us to get the requisite funding to support this program. The program will be administered and run collaboratively with the University of the Gambia as soon as funding is available. Forensic capabilities. A significant milestone in the establishment of the first fully functional forensic DNA laboratory, enhancing investigative efficiency and expediting case resolutions. We will continue to enhance our forensic capability through acquiring more equipment and training. Equipment enhancements. To ensure the effectiveness of our traffic department and to reduce road traffic accidents, crashes, the Gambia Police Force has distributed 60 operational motorbikes plus some vehicles to the Highway Patrol Unit, the Police Intervention Unit, and some police stations of the Gambia Police Force accordingly benefited from this. Additionally, in 2024 alone, 132 pieces of office furniture have been allocated to various police stations to improve the working conditions of our colleagues. International recognition, cooperation, and partnership. The Gambia Police Force was honored with the Best National Police Force of West Africa 2023-2024. This award reflects the commitment to the excellence in law enforcement and security management. The GPF continues to enjoy fruitful partnership with other international law enforcement agencies such as the Senegalese Police, National Police, Ghana Police, the Turkish, British, Rwanda National Police, China, and the list goes on. Gambia is not an island and therefore needs to cooperate with other counterparts to particularly combat transnational organized crime and also exchange best practices in policing. Infrastructure. At least 7 more model police stations are planned to be built in this year, 1 in each 6 regions of the country. One will be built in Brikama, Yarasoma, Basse, Sami Karantaba, Makamasire, Farafenye, and elsewhere. These stations, like the 2 in Serekunda and Bundung, will be the standards going forward. Crime and crime prevention measures. Strengthening of robust patrols. We have recently intensified our patrols to deter criminality. Deployment plan. To effectively combat crime, we are re-strategizing our posture countrywide with the help of our first ever deployment plan. With this plan being rolled out, There will be enhanced visibility of police officers countrywide and enhanced access to police services. Before mid-March 2025, the public will begin to see this happen, and we are confident it will lower crime rates significantly. Way forward. New police facility. This is needed to sustainably build capacity in a more cost-effective manner. Enhancing forensic and ballistic capabilities. The Gambia Police Force plans to collaborate with government and international partners to provide specialized training for officers and procure advanced tools for forensic units. Improving mobility and infrastructure. Efforts are underway to address mobility challenges by distributing additional motor vehicles to major police stations. Plans are also in the offing to include constructing 6 additional model police stations, as earlier mentioned, in various regions. This is being supported by our international partners, mainly the GIZ. Digital transformation. The imminent launch of the Police Integrated Information Management System, PIIMS, aims to digitalize workflows and records management, enhancing operational efficiency as well. International cooperation, strengthening partnership with international law enforcement agencies is a priority for us. Recent engagements include discussions with Rwanda National Police to share experience and strategies for addressing evolving security challenges. My visit there early last year, to the tail end of the year, availed me the opportunity to have a very fruitful discussion with my Rwandan counterpart, where offers were being made to Gambia Police Force on gratis to send our colleagues there to study in various areas way up to doctorate level. This opportunity, we intend to exploit it, and hopefully all goes well. By June of this year, we will send the first batch or first cohorts of police officers to go to Rwanda National Police Academy to undergo various courses in that area. Having said this, I thank you for your kind attention, and your presence is appreciated. Thank you very much. Yes, for question.
Thank you, IGP, for that impressive rendition and taking us through the visible measures and impact of the security sector reform. I'm particularly impressed by the capacity building and the attractiveness of the police force. Most of our students now, after UTG, some of them join the police force. This is very encouraging. And they're also writing their research thesis on the security sector reform on various activities of the project. And we're really impressed with that. And parallel to that, we also see police officers, while in active service, they are given the opportunity to improve themselves. So continuous capacity building in a changing world is something that is impressive. And I'm glad that the police is at par. As you say, the Gambia is not an island, and the police is actually following the trend, the global trend, in making sure that we have a modern, responsive police force, especially in this world of social media, where there's camera everywhere, there's open visibility, and the police is responding accordingly. On that note, I would like to open the floor for questions. Feel free to mention your name, media organization, and to whom the question is addressed to.
Any questions?
And people posting questions through the social media handles, it's also possible, it's an option.
Model that.
Huh?
Madam.
Yeah, thank you so much, IGP. Sorry, but I came late. I don't know much about that. But you can ask any question regarding about the security force, right? Regarding about the police. Okay. Thank you so much. My question goes to. My name is Matar Jase. I'm working from the FATO network. My question will go to the recent accident happening regarding on social media regarding Binta Njai. So many people are saying that intimating Binta Njai for question and why live in Bahum, who do the acts and saying something on the Kiankas, example for saying, naming those people. What can you tell us regarding about these two accidents happening right now between Binta and Bahum that you just released, just not let you go on a bill regarding about the comment that you make in Kian?
Thank you very much, Mr. Jase. Well, I think you wanted to use the word intimidating, not intimate, right? If I can correct you here with your understanding. Well, first and foremost, let me clarify the point of being said she is being intimidated. There is no intimidation here. And my colleague, Assistant Superintendent of Police Binta, the little I know in her will never say to anybody that she's being intimidated. So let me clarify that point. Two, I am not aligning myself with the remarks made by Mr. Baum. It's very much uncalled for, very unnecessary, and I don't agree with those remarks. However, moving forward, everything that takes water, be it a human being, even animals, like ruminants, they make mistakes. And some of those mistakes are the reason why when a goat or a herd of cattle are crossing the road, you will see a car hit them. That's miscalculation. I want to believe when Mr. Bahum realized his mistake, he brought down the write-up and profoundly apologized to the people of Kia and to the entire nation. I consider that a goodwill gesture from him. Now, coming back to the issue of my colleague Binta, the police force is being regulated by various instruments. We're now talking of the Police Act, we're talking of our Code of Conduct, and we're also talking of the General Orders and the Civil Service Rules and Regulations, which does not permit serving members of the force to talk or interfere with the internal politics of the nation. It is the sovereign rights of every individual police officer to be affiliated to a political party. But this must not be manifested so long as you are putting on our. I hope you get my point. That's my position on that. Thank you.
My name is Yapatage from QTV. So recently we've been hearing a lot of burglar cases. So what measures is the sector taking to ensure that the lives and properties of the people have been protected?
Thank you very much. From a media house, I'm sure you are also following developments. 2 weeks ago, I convened a press conference at the anti-crime headquarters in Banjuluni, where some suspects, with one convict now, were being paraded before the cameras. They are all Gambians except one. When those unfortunate incidents occurred, majority of us, including myself, thought maybe they are non-Gambians. But then as investigations progressed, we have a very vibrant various units within the police force who were able to trap, especially the one that was apprehended in Bissau, Guinea, through the internet. And then that was how the leadership team of Gambia Police Force promptly and swiftly dispatched a team of police officers, competent one for that matter, to Bissau, and we spoke with our counterparts, more especially the IGP and the head of the Judicial Police, Dr. Domingos, through the assistance of the Bissau ambassador here. And we were able to get this person. No need to go into details on how we were able to do this. But under 24 hours, he was apprehended. Then the following day, the embassy also facilitated his extradition to the Gambia here. At that point in time, we never knew it's the same people that also operated at Al Hela in a very brazen way, we consider it, early morning, and then attack that place. So the team went out, all out in Banjul. Before 9 p.m. that very day, we were able to arrest the first suspect, who led us to the other ones, where they were all subsequently arrested one by one. Now, when they were confronted, all of them agreed that various armed robbery incidents that occurred in the country here way back 2014 was actually being perpetrated by them. Now, they have been processed, investigations are completed. I have the report in my phone here, and we are sending it to the legal office. That's the Office of the Solicitor General for legal advice. Now, coming back to a very important question that you asked, the measures that are put in place. I'm sure now, driving around in town, you are seeing a lot of armed police officers patrolling strategic areas, within the Greater Banjul area. This operations is going to continue, and like I mentioned in my presser 2 weeks ago, we have also been supported with massive funding. I will consider it, even though funding is never enough for the security, but $5 million is given to us by the central government to support, daily and night patrols, which are ongoing all over the country, more especially from Brikama all the way to Banjul regions. So when I show you the statistics of crime rate from the time these arrests and apprehensions were done, you realize that there is a slight decrease in this. We don't tailor-made figures. I don't personally believe in this. I say it as it is. And if the statistics or the figures are on the rise, even though it will not be to my interest, for that to happen, but I will definitely share this with the media so that, every Gambian is given the correct and credible information as it relates to some of these things. I'm sure you are still listening, even though you have been distracted. Are you listening?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next question.
Good morning, sir. My name is Sarubo Bojang from the Gambia Radio and Television Services. Inspector General of Police, truth to be told, the efforts of the Gambia government, police per se, cannot be overlooked when it comes to security. Because of recent, we've witnessed the Gambia Police Force just won an award of the best policing. Obviously, that was a very good observation internationally. But with all the strategies and measures put in place, especially issues regarding robbery, when you decide you apprehended the suspects within 24 hours, you as an Inspector General went even to an extent of saying that you will resign if the culprits were not apprehended. And definitely Gambians and beyond applauded you for that wonderful work. But with all that, the public and many out there still observe that the rates is still decreasing by the day. Can you clear that for the benefits of the public?
Increasing or decreasing?
Increasing rather. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sariba. Perhaps after this engagement, if I have access to my phone, I can show you the current rates of crime statistics. If you minus before the apprehension of those criminals, suspected criminals, because they are still being taken to court, yes, there is slight increment, but that relates to violent crime. Immediately after their arrest, if you make comparison, there I will disagree with you that it's still rising. It's on the decline. And let me also clarify this point. I did not say at the press conference that if they are not arrested, I am going to resign. I will still repeat what I said. My statement was, if I realize that me at the apex or at the helm of affairs of Gambia Police Force, we are unable to protect the citizenry of this country. We are unable to minimize, because crime cannot be completely eradicated. If we are unable to do this, I will be the one to be very honest with myself, to be very honest with the executive that appointed me, and more importantly to the Gambian people, to say I have failed in my responsibility. That was what I said. And I still stand by this. Thank you.
In IG, my name is Kokapa from QTV. We see most of these armed robbery are done with using vehicle without number plate and tinted glasses, and we still see people driving their cars with tinted glasses and without number plate. What are the police doing to tackle that? Also, we see kids doing stunts all over, and sometimes it's unsafe for the general public, and they do it in the public places. What are the police doing on that? Thank you.
Thank you, Korga. On the issue of stunting, we are doing our level best, but these children change the dynamics every other time. Sometimes we will have intelligence that this particular area is where they intend doing it, and then we will deploy our CIDs with a backup from the PIU. But then, sometimes that's just a decoy. You realize that they will move to another location. When we go there, by the time we reach, they have dispersed. But a lot of arrests were made on some of them. More recently at Brusubi, where 10 of them were arrested and they were taken to court. But come to think of it, does those children have the financial muscle to buy cars for themselves? The answer is definitely a resounding no. What I'm trying to drive here at, those children are children of people, you and I, and somebody else. They come from very decent and reputable homes. Why are we as parents allowing our children to indulge in such kind of activities? To me, that discipline should start from us as parents to our children. I have grown-up children, but you will not see my children, behaving like this. So we throw that challenge back to the general public and parents of some of those children. But then, again, the second question of unnumbered vehicles and vehicles with tinted glasses. By way of stringent measures, previously, the approval for someone to be able to use tinted glass, if it is factory tinted, is understandable, because that means the vehicle actually arrived in the country with that tint. So, to avoid discomforting the owner, if you should ask him to remove that, that may even affect the glass. But then the ones that are man-made, you go to Kairaba Avenue, they can easily do this for you. It's not accepted, it's not supposed to happen. Believe me, the cost for someone to have a tinted glass is $15,000. Why must someone go all out to pay $15,000 just to get a tinted glass? When you could have been driving that car, free, with your glasses, all transparent, you go anywhere you want to go. So you also realize that, and I said this during my last press conference, the major abusers of this tinted glass or unnumbered vehicles are my colleagues in the security fraternity. And I can tell you, a good number of them were arrested with their vehicles where they were fined on the spot before they can get away with their cars. And we also ensure that the number plate is pasted before you leave the mobile traffic office or any police station where the vehicle was parked. So measures are actually put in place. The enforcement aspect is ongoing, but then it's still a bit of a challenge, I must admit. But hopefully, we will be able to get out of the woods, on that matter. Your question is appreciated. Thank you.
This is a question from WhatsApp, sir. When will the Gambia Police Force start looking at vehicles, functionality, and safety, and regulate the issuance of insurance and driver's licenses?
Thank you. Currently, I have received a good number of proposals from various companies or interested groups to enter into a BOQ with government so that we can have some of these things being rolled out by way of effective and proper traffic management. And discussions are ongoing, but these are areas that the police don't have complete control since it's a BOQ. It must have to be escalated to my ministry. That's the Ministry of Interior. The Justice Ministry also have a role in that because it's a contract. The PPP, at the Ministry of Finance also, have a role to play in it. Right now we are doing, the editing of some of those proposals, and most often we invite them for presentation. And what we will normally do, the ones that we think are the best offer for government, we will take them forward them to the ministry. Then the ministry will decide as to which one they think is the best to be offered that contract. Thank you.
Excuse me. Thank you. I have a question. There was a period, I think sometime last year, when the Gambia was grappling with the social problem of Kush in particular. And the police came up with a strategy and established a task force against Kush. Now it seems the problem has been solved. I'm not hearing about Kush issues anymore. Can you tell us what measures did you put in place, what strategies to fight this menace and solve it once and for all? Thank you.
Honorable Minister, thank you very much. If your fellow Sisekunda is here, he is the right person to answer this question. And that's the Director General of Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Mr. Demba Sise. However, being a security outfit as them, I can jump his gun and talk a little about it. A task force, I'm aware, was being constituted, and this comprises, officials of all security establishments in the country, and they go out on outreach programs, also, talk with, various, officers, conduct or organize, raids. These are ongoing things as far as their work is concerned. But then what minimizes it, I think, also has to do with the reinforcement all institutions, has placed at our common borders. That's the land frontier, because it was flagged and realized that the Kush is not coming through the sea, it's not coming by air, it is actually coming through the land frontier. And these are the various entry and exit points we have in the country. Being a very porous country, patrols were equally heightened. Immigration were also on their border patrols, supported by armed elements of the police and other institutions. So that really paid dividend. And before we understand, Kush is completely, I can state with certainty, eradicated or minimized in the country. So perhaps, that measure should be replicated in other areas also, where, hard substances, should be curtailed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Other
IGP.
questions?
Okay, I have a question too, because I also receive a lot of questions from the public as the government spokesperson. Here the issue of community policing and domestic violence. We hinted on this stunting, which I think it is domestic violence extended to the public space. And we've also been here seeing cases of patricide and infanticide, spousal violence at home. And then how is the police? I remember the police issued a very elaborate press release admonishing people to be law-abiding, not to take the law into their own hands. So what people do in their homes, the police will not be there to be policing people's bedroom and household. So it is important, to amplify it. So I don't know, in your presentation, how far are you going, and also addressing this issue of perception? Crime rate is manageable, but the public perception is that it is still skyrocketing, where there's the opposite. But the issue of community policing and also admonishing people to look inward into their domestic relationship.
Babuka, thank you, Deputy Spokesperson. The community policing caravan ended their countrywide tour last Sunday, and they were at Boxbar James Senegal Johnson, where they held a very, very well-attended engagement with the people of Banjul. 13 days ago, they were in my own home community of Pira, and the caravan started here in the North Bank after crossing to Bara. So it's a countrywide engagement where not only the senior people of the country are engaged, but more importantly, the school children. The outreach program encompasses all, as long as you are a citizen or a resident of this country. Domestic violence is one of the drama that is being played in every location or destination that they go. But then, when you critically look at domestic violence, sometimes, or most often, it's man-made. It is either between husband and wife, or it's between two family members, or it's with parents and children. No matter how aggrieved someone is, no matter how angry, no matter how bitter, I think you should be with the dictates of your conscience and not allow yourself to be consumed by that bitterness or anger. Because in the process of being angry or unhappy, upset, most often the decisions that you take are not the best decisions. I think my advice here to all and sundry will be, let's have a true reflection of the issue at hand. Think about it critically and give yourself time before you can take decision. Because if you take any decision at that material point in time, usually it's not always the best. And this is what normally leads to the occasioning of crime, and this crime will be a major crime. Sometimes, death can even occur. I did say this, that we cannot be everywhere. And again, I will agree with you, the perception about the crime rate from the general public. But then we have nothing to hide. If anybody is doubting this, please come to the headquarters. We will share this information, even though certain information are purely and entirely on NTK, that's need to know. But then if you have also elsewhere where you also have another statistics or data to challenge what we have, you're welcome. We're not here to hide anything. Whatever we tell you is what is being obtained by the police. So if you have a divergent view or you have another that is completely different with what we have, challenge us on this. Our doors are open. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Kadi Keseli. I'm working for the media, but I'm a communications officer at the Post DRC unit. It's a pleasure to be here. I am also a final year student at the University of the Gambia, and I wrote my final year project on.
Are you a journalist?
No.
You cannot take questions from.
And supervisor, this is not something related to.
Yeah,
you can give it to the journalist to ask, but it's a press conference. It's only for those from media houses. Friday
is for citizens, Mansakunda.
Yes.
But you can.
I just want to give the data on. Sorry. Can I say the question?
It's not formulated.
It's not formulated. It's from. I just want to.
Concerns and.
Unfortunately, we cannot.
You wrote a thesis on some police work, as if you wanted to present some data from that.
Sir, can I ask the last word?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So having looked at the ongoing issue, in most cases, foreigners are part of some Gambians committing certain crimes. Is the Gambia Police Force taking any step internationally to make it an end? Because we've observed that many crimes that have been committed in this country is rarely when you made mention and then it has to be purely Gambians. Especially these current armed robbers, knowing fully that one of the suspects, Mr. Jobate, was once in prison, because I work with the Gambia prisons and I recall meeting him at Mile 2 State Central Prisons, now conspiring with some Gambian men to commit such a heinous crime. Is the Gambia Police Force taking any step towards that?
Thank you. Sorry, well. We don't want to be xenophobic.
Sorry?
I don't want to be xenophobic, meaning I don't want to directly accuse non-Gambians as the ones that are committing, as you will put it, some of these heinous crimes. But come to think of it, we have Ousseynou Touré, who was jailed yesterday, good prosecution. He is to serve 10 years on an armed robbery at Farato. You have Ansumana Ansujaju. You have Abdullah Jallo. You have Omar Seka. These are typical Gambian names and Gambian citizens. And then you have one Luseni Jabate, an Ivorian, married to a Gambian sister. How many of this did I call that are Gambians? 4. And we have one non-Gambian, but a West African. So when you dissect that trajectory, you will realize that actually we also have bad elements within our midst. Now, the issue of non-Gambians committing or perpetrating some of these violent crimes, I think somehow this statistics or the profiling of these people goes to allay some of those concerns. To say it is not only non-Gambians that are committing these violent crimes, but our own compatriots also are complicit in this. Like I said earlier, that investigation is completed, and I was reliably informed before walking into this room that that docket will be shared with the Ministry of Justice today for legal opinion. Usually when we write, we put up our recommendations, and most often they tend to agree or accept, most of the recommendations that we put in the report for them to be able to prosecute the case. That's a case beyond the level of the police because it's a capital crime. It has to be prosecuted by the state. So when we send, that's where our work stops. Thank you.
Thank you so much for my last question. The zebra crossing, we see that now the drivers normally, they don't normally wait for people to cross the zebra crossing, but they will normally go. What the police are doing for the safety of the people, and any driver found wanted, what the police are going to do regarding about that issue?
Thank you. You see, accidentally, if any driver hit any pedestrian crossing the zebra crossing and happens to kill the person, that tantamounts to murder in our laws. It's considered murder. Murder. It's a murder. No matter how much you are in a hurry, if you see a pedestrian crossing the road, it is your duty to wait for him or her to cross, then you can proceed on your journey. But if you check most of the locations where we have the zebra crossing, sometimes also they are adhering to it. And here I want to refer you to a video being done by a Senegalese national on Senegambia here, where Gambian drivers were observing the importance and relevance of zebra crossing, allowing pedestrians to crisscross at a very peak busy hour within this area. So that is also a credit to Gambian drivers because they were actually recognizing some of these things. But then you don't expect what was happening here to be everywhere in the country. But some of these things are gradual, young man. At a certain point in time, everybody will adhere to this. Thank you.
Thank you. Then final question from this research, asking on behalf of the final year students at School of Journalism and Digital Media. Conducted a survey which said that 65.1% of the public are in favor of reform, that is ongoing reform. I think she missed that part, where you elaborated on the reforms taking place. Just wanted a summary on how far the police is going in terms of the SSR security sector reform and also the TRRC recommendations.
65%, yes?
Of the public favors police reform. That is the ongoing transformative agenda.
That means they appreciate it.
They appreciate it. And
but 65 is a good score.
Yes, we would like to
it's
know
a good score. It's a good score.
Some of the miles and the TRRC recommendations. I don't know whether you can say shed light on some of the.
Specifically, what does he mean by TRRC recommendations?
On the security sector reform.
On the security. The National Security Advisor will be very happy to answer this question for you. ONS. Obakar Suleiman Jai. He will be very happy to answer this question. And I will encourage you to liaise with him. He has answers for this. I don't want to be answering questions which are supposed to be answered by other colleagues from the security fraternity. Sorry, what I said.
Okay.
Thank you. I would like to invite Honorable Minister for the closing remarks.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Sincere thank you and appreciation to the IG of Police, Mr. Sidi Mukhtar Toure, and his entire team and the force for gracing our press conference this month. Unfortunately, it is going to be our last press conference until after Ramadan. There will be no press conference in March because I think the whole March will be Ramadan, and we'll organize another one sometime in April, perhaps first week in April. We'll inform the media as to which agency or department or ministry is coming to that particular press conference. And like we say, the ministry's mandate is to ensure that the public is well informed about government policies and projects and activities. To promote democracy in this country means that we need to have an accountable and transparent government, and we are just for doing that. That is why we ensure timely, accurate, authentic, and relevant information is disseminated in a proactive manner. We call it proactive disclosure. We don't wait for the public to ask questions and we'll react to those questions. We bring we create the environment so that there is transparency, so that the public is well informed. And this is the purpose of this press conference. Today, the police, through the IG, was very clear in their vision, which focuses on capacity building, building the capacity of the police, their competence. In order to build a professional, ethical police force, you need to first build the capacity of the police. You need the right men and women to join the force with the right attitude and the right ethical orientation. And that is what the IGP is doing. That's how you build a police force. And everything else will fall in place. Without the right men and women with the right attitude and the right mindset, no matter what policies, what strategies, being operational, administrative, you will not succeed. And I think the IG was very clear in terms of the drive, the initiatives they are putting in place to train and have a competent, not only to attract the best brains, but also to retain them and motivate them. I think that's what they've been doing, and I think you've been talking about it. Fortunately, I'm from academia, and I've had a lot of former students who studied at the university with degrees and master's programs who are now going into the force, which is unprecedented. Before, and that's one, the spokesperson sitting there, Mr. Sisa, is one of them. Before, when we talk about the police force, we're talking about the Form 5, grade 12, primary 6, but now it's changing. The police force, the face of the force is changing now. And we thank the IGP for that, for his leadership, but also the previous IGP as well, who's currently Minister of Interior, for also his leadership. And I think when the new IG came, he did not deviate from that vision, that broad vision of the police. That is how institutions work. It's not personal, it's by the institution. So when he also goes to serve somewhere else, the one who will replace, he's already continuing with the same vision, with the same framework. And that is leadership. That is why I commend his leadership, the way he is running the force. And I'm just sitting here going through the comments on social media, and I think almost 90% are saying that he's the best IGP. I mean, that's their opinion, that's the open government. That's what they are seeing, and they commend you for your work. I think every Gambian is happy. The perception out there needs to be debunked. We have the data. Crime rates have gone down at every level, both violent crime, petty crime, domestic violence. All these figures are going down. Now as we speak. The policies, if you look at the Battle Harding Highway, you see the patrol vehicles, they are everywhere. And sometimes I see even them stopping vehicles on the highway, putting them aside. Very professional. So thanks to your leadership, Mr. Mukhtar Sidi Toure, and your entire force. And thank you, members of the media, and thank you, my own team, Ministry of Information, the two DPSs who are here today, Williams and Kinte, and also all our staff who are here today. But also special thanks to my brother. There was a breakdown in communication, and he did not receive the message that he would chair this event as he normally does. He got to know about it this morning when he was in his way to work, and he had to divert and come here. That shows his level of commitment to this initiative. Otherwise, he would not have come. So we thank you very much for that, and we apologize for the breakdown in communication. And thank you to all members of the staff, the media, the cameramen, the producers, everyone. I wish you all a very pleasant Ramadan. It's going to be a very difficult period for some of you. For me, I'm fine, I can handle it. But I feel sorry for the idea. I know he'll take leave this whole month. He won't come to work. But on that note, thank you very much. Until we meet again next month, I wish you all a pleasant week. Thank you. Thank you very much.